All right, Robert, we are live, and good afternoon to you and good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Nerrill. I help professionals who are ambitious about their careers create their next advancement opportunity. And today, I have a great guest who's joining us, who is also a friend of mine. Would you please welcome to the show, Robert William Fusik III. Hey, Robert, how are you?
How are you guys?
Robert, so thank you so much for being on today and sharing your story. We are talking today about what it means to deal with a career-ending injury and what career transition looks like, regardless of age or experience. And so, Robert, thank you for being on today to share your story.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we're going to welcome a few people into the room as they're joining us live. And so if you are new to my show, I want to welcome you. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. All of these shows are housed on my website and on my Facebook channel. But if you go to my website, I've got a free offer for you. It's called 3 Steps to Creating Your Next Advancement Opportunity Without Feeling Overwhelmed. It's an e-workbook that's designed to help you listen, lean in, and step forward to create whatever your next advancement opportunity is. So you'll click on the link there. You will fill out the form that is on the website. Not only will you get the e-workbook, but it will also put you into my email community where I email everyone each week about a various leadership and career topic. And it does get you information about all of my Facebook Lives and these exciting interviews that we're going to have today. So thank you very much for that. All right, Robert, I asked you to be on the show and you graciously agreed because as long as we've known each other and seen you at PBA tournaments, but following you on social media and talking to you, you just very simply have a really fascinating story that I asked you to share today. So if you would, as we get started, just share with us a little bit about what your career path has been that's gotten you to this point in this interview right now.
It's been a crazy journey between wanting to play professional soccer and then having that change and then absolutely completely change from going from soccer to kicking a football and then retiring because I had a son and then getting married and now rolling a bowling ball for the rest of my life.
So absolutely, right? So a professional athlete's really in 3 different sports, right?
Yep.
So you're playing professional soccer, and tell us what happened.
Playing soccer and getting taken out from behind and someone's cleat going through my Achilles was definitely dreadful. Terrible feeling. Never wish that upon anybody. And then I turned to playing football and that was that. Just had to make that crazy career change.
So, Robert, when that cleat goes through your Achilles, what's the first thought in your mind?
I'm done. Won't be able to do what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. It definitely hurt. Definitely hurt. When I grew up playing, it's literally the only thing I wanted to do. So when it happened.
Did you know at that moment that it was over?
In my sense, I never wanted it to be over, so I worked as hard as I possibly could. So when the doctors kept telling me, "Oh, you can't play as good as you wanted to. You probably will never play on that level again," I worked as hard as I possibly could, going to the gym, physical therapy, and I don't play at that professional level, but I play in an adult league. But that's as far as I got.
Sure. And what was the transition like? And correct me if I have this wrong, but you go from soccer to arena football?
Yes.
Yeah. What was that like?
It was crazy. So I had no intentions of playing football. My mom actually saw a Facebook ad that the team that we live by, called the Trent Freedom at the time, were having tryouts, and she said I should go try out. So I did. And actually did pretty well for the first time ever kicking a football, which is a crazy different way of kicking anything. But I did well, and I stayed at it and worked at it, and I made a profession out of it for 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm. So how do you shift the gears, so to speak, to go from kicking a soccer ball to kicking a football and just work at that day after day after day? How do you do that?
Um, just consistency is key. Working, watching film, watching videos on other people and how they do it. And literally, it's just, to me, kicking a football is just like bowling. Working on your footsteps, your foot speed, and just, like I said, just being as consistent as you possibly could.
Mm-hmm. And so what changed for you then when that chapter of your life ended? What was the cause behind that?
I got married, and then me and my wife wanted to focus on having kids.
Yeah.
And we recently just had one who's 9 months old. Can't believe how fast it's been. But yeah, I mean, between traveling and I didn't want to miss anything with my son between his first words, which was "mama," which kills me every day. Um, but I didn't want to miss his first steps. I didn't want to miss his first crawl.
Mm.
But besides that, that's the huge reason why
Yeah.
I didn't want to play football.
Is so important to you. And in doing that, I mean, that obviously was a big life switch, right? So you go from playing arena football, you get married, you have all these major life changes. And so obviously work is really different for you right
Definitely.
now too. So tell everybody what it is that you currently do for work.
I currently drive a box truck that delivers pork roll. I go throughout basically all the East. I go as far as sometimes Maryland and then shoot all the way up to Taylorsville, or not Taylorsville, Taylors, Pennsylvania, and then the Poconos, and then around New Jersey.
Okay. So I grew up in New Jersey. I grew up in Point Pleasant Beach. I live outside of Washington, D.C. now. Your truck does not come down far enough. So we after the show. But for those people who don't know how amazing pork roll is, how would you describe it?
I'm actually not a fan of it. My
Really?
wife is a huge fan of it. Every time I go to the bagel place, she always asks me to get her pork roll, and
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I just never been a fan of pork roll, but everyone says it's great, so I can't beat on it.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, it's a hot prospect.
Yeah, it's an awesome breakfast food.
It is.
Pork roll, or and there is a difference between pork roll and Taylor ham, correct?
I have no idea, to be honest, but
Okay.
I think it's just a different name. But
right.
there's a huge controversy over it.
All right. So if anybody who's listening knows the difference between pork roll and Taylor ham, and I apologize for not knowing, put that in the comments. All right. So let me just pause for a second. So hey Ken, hey Susan, it's great to have you both in here, and thank you for following along. So Robert, so you drive this box truck, and your days are probably pretty long and pretty crazy between all the stops and the customers that you need to serve. So typically, what's your day like?
I get up usually around 3:30 in the morning. I probably deliver till about sometimes 11 to 12, and then I'll have to go back and load up for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Some days I get lucky and I only have a few stops, so it's not as long.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's days where it's 10, 11, 12-hour days.
So in the midst of it all, how do you manage to find time to work on your bowling game and pursue bowling professionally out on tour?
Well, usually Tuesdays is my bowling day. I usually get done work around 11 or 12. And luckily, I know everyone at Bristol Pike Lanes in Pennsylvania, and they provide me a couple of lanes for me to practice on, and they put out some patterns if I need them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Tuesdays is my practice day.
Yeah.
Thursdays is my league night. But every other day that I can get in is perfect.
Got it. And you bowl league, and you bowl early or late shift?
I bowl late shift.
Yeah. All right. So do you work on Fridays?
I do, but
Yeah.
Luckily it's only a load up day. Luckily Fridays are a load up day.
All right. So you still have to go and put in the time and the
Yep.
hours and everything like that. You know, we don't typically make a big deal of that age, but I was asking you before the show, right? So Robert is 28. I hope you don't mind me sharing that, because
Nope.
I already did. But we talked about that. But, one of the things that I want to emphasize here is that when we talk about living with career transition, it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what gender, what profession you're in, what race, anything like that. We all go through a career transition at some point, and there is value in the lessons we learn because of the career transitions we go through. So for someone like you who had this opportunity to pursue a couple of different professional sports careers and then make this shift to really go through and put your family first, what we were talking about before is that this is really an opportunity for you to honor your core values and to honor those values that are so important to you that you live by each and every day. So what would you describe as your primary core value that you live by each day, Robert?
Just every time I wake up in the morning, I want to do what I possibly can to hopefully someday make it so my wife can stay home, and be with my son, and then hopefully another son or a daughter.
Yeah.
I would just want to make life to make it easier for my wife. I mean, she's been through so much. I want to make it so her life is as easy as it possibly can be. But I get up and I live every day as much as I can to the fullest. That's literally I tell everyone that's my biggest quote, to always live life to the fullest.
Mm-hmm. That's a great lesson to learn at your age, because I'm not exactly sure I learned it at 28. It's the kind of thing where a lot of stuff happens to us in life, and you're no exception to that with you and your family and everything, but it's what shapes us, right?
Absolutely.
And for you to have such a strong value about putting your family first and doing the best work that you possibly can, that is admirable and it is respected.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And a lot of the work that I do with my clients, and I work with people across a variety of different professions, and I get an opportunity to talk to a lot of people each week as well. I always say, I don't care what it is that you do. I don't care if you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company or you're the person who's picking up my trash a couple of times a week. If you show up and you do the job fully and to the best of your ability, and you look at it as a way of service and how you are providing service to your customers, your clients, your organization, your community, whatever that might be, you're showing up fully as your best self each and every moment. So, hey, if anybody has any questions, feel free to go ahead and pop them into the box here in the comment box, and we'll get Robert to ask some questions. So Robert, now that you've shared what your career path is and what you're currently doing for work, and your aspirations of continuing to pursue a professional career with bowling, what would you describe currently right now as your next advancement opportunity?
Right now, I'm trying to persuade my wife to go with me to the World Series of Bowling in March in Vegas. So that's my biggest thing that I would love to do. It's one of the biggest tournaments in the professional area, and that's I want to win so bad out there. I know you've won out there, so I can imagine the feeling. But yeah, my biggest goal is to win out there and show everyone that I deserve to be out there.
What does winning a title at the national level mean for you?
Oh, just the feeling. I mean, I've won plenty of bowling tournaments, but there's nothing I can imagine. Nothing winning a PBA title against the best in the world, especially on the national level.
Yep.
But yeah, it would be an unreal feeling.
Mm-hmm. How much does it validate all the hard work and effort you've put in?
It would completely validate it. I work as hard as probably anyone out there, and it would just be unreal.
Hmm.
just watching all these young guys that make the television show, and I have a bunch of friends that have made the TV show, and my good friend AJ Johnson, who just won. He works extremely hard. I always see him on Instagram putting in the work in the gym, and he literally is an inspiration to me, especially Anthony Simonson with everything that he went through and the stuff that Flow Bowling put on for him. But it would be a true amazing feeling to win.
I remember when AJ came in second at the Masters several years ago, and just led that tournament, and unfortunately just kind of lost on TV. I was so impressed with how he handled himself and he carried himself, and I was so happy to see him win a couple weeks ago, which was great. So please let him know, even though we don't know we were connected on social media, but I said congrats, absolutely. I think he's bowling pretty well in Costa Rica right now.
He is. I believe he made the top 8.
Yeah, I saw something on Instagram this morning about him bowling on the TV show. So hopefully it's another win for him there.
I sure hope so.
It's great. So Robert, my dear friend and coach colleague Susan Kovacs has kind of chimed in a little bit here. So Susan is a sports performance coach, and she has a podcast called The Athlete's Game Changer, which I totally recommend for you and anybody else who plays a sport and wants to listen to a really great sports performance podcast. It's called The Athlete's Game Changer. But Susan's asking here, would love to know what you feel has helped you to transition between your various sports, and what aspects of your mindset were critical for you?
I would say my family played a huge part in it, especially my brother Cole. He helped me through a lot. He pushed me to try and prove all the doctors wrong. He also pushed me to be as good as I possibly could in anything that I did. I actually have a lot of siblings, so they all looked up to me, and they always tell me how much they look up to me. So I didn't want to let them down, and I didn't want to let my mother down, who is one of the biggest supporters of me. So, I mean, the transition was crazy. But like I said, my mom, she'll find anything that would help me push myself in the right direction.
And Susan had commented a little bit earlier as you were talking too. She said, attitude matters, and you've got an incredible one. So
thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So thank you, Susan, for those questions. I mean, mindset is truly important, whether we're in the boardroom or we're on the playing field. And so how do you maintain the positivity in your mindset with everything you have done?
I'm always positive. Like, if I wasn't positive, I don't know how much my wife would have been able to stay as positive as she was with everything she went through. But, I mean, if you're not positive in life, then it's very hard to succeed. I'm always positive regardless of what happens and what transitions through my life, especially with bowling, because bowling is one of the toughest sports to me. I mean, I know golf is tough, but, I mean, the physical and the mental game that bowling puts on you is absolutely wrecking, and it could be very bad.
Well, and I mean, how oftentimes do we get it when we're telling people, oh, we just came back from a regional event, or we came back from a national event, and we ended up bowling 20 plus games in a weekend?
Oh,
right.
Some people
are like, oh, I'm sore after I went and bowled 3 games with my friends Saturday night, kind of thing. You bowled 20? Yeah, that's why it's a sport.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bowling can definitely take a toll on your body. Definitely, especially your knees. Your knees, you always have to do leg day. I know a lot of people skip leg day, but make sure you do leg day.
Absolutely. So Robert, I'm chuckling a little bit because I'm watching my camera move because my cat is bumping the tripod. That's
awesome. Yeah, luckily my dog went inside, or else I'm sure she would be trying to jump on my lap.
Come here, you. Come here. All right. We'll have her make an appearance for those of you who have seen Amy before, but this is my That's knocking on the tripod right now. All right. Okay. So Robert, as we start wrapping up, and I want to thank you again for sharing everything that you've shared with today, because it's certainly important and inspirational. But one of the questions I always end these shows with is really asking you, so if you had an opportunity to talk to somebody, what advice would you give them as they're creating their next advancement opportunity?
Don't ever give up. Always live by Mr. Jimmy V. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. It's definitely a big quote. I've always told my wife, all my siblings, because I mean, life can take you in so many different directions, and the best thing is to like never give up on a dream, a goal, a passion, because the moment you give up, it's so hard to get back in. But I always tell people the harder you work is the more of a better outcome. And I always tell my siblings, talent always loses to hard work, always. So hard work will always be talent.
Well, you are a great example of what hard work looks like, and I look forward to seeing you at a tournament soon enough. Are you going to Massachusetts for the doubles?
I wish, but it's just so far.
So far.
And it's actually me and my brother do a doubles tournament near here that we usually bowl. We actually won it a few years ago, so
nice.
We're trying to go again.
All right. Well, good luck with that. Keep me posted. All right.
I will.
All right. So Robert, so thanks again. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you or follow you on social media, how can they go about doing that?
I'm on Twitter, but I'm not very tweetable. I'm on Instagram a lot. My wife actually made my account because I actually needed a bowling Instagram. Okay. And now me and my brother just started a YouTube channel. It's called the Fusik Brothers channel. Mm-hmm. Most of the time it's going to be bowling, but we have plenty of more content to come, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, great. So yeah, so follow you on Instagram, follow your YouTube channel, give it a like or subscribe to all the videos and things like that. And thank you very much. I hope you get some followers out of this.
Thank you.
Following, and let's face an update in March. I hope you get a chance to go to I hope you get a chance to go to the World Series of Bowling. Are they like mowing the lawn? That's perfect. I love it. All right. Well, I think we're actually at time.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to end ours because we're good at the interview right now. So I want to thank everybody for watching today, for following. Again, please take it a point to check out Robert's Instagram as well as he and his brother's YouTube channel, the Fusik Brothers Bowling channel. And wish you a great rest of the day. I'll be back next week with another interview. If you liked it, please click the thumbs up button, click the subscribe button to get notified when more shows and episodes drop. And Robert, good bowling to you. Continued best wishes, my friend, to you and your family. And I will see you all next week with another interview.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you, Robert. Take care.